Okay, I guess we can just go live. There's nothing really special going on here but a Zoom stream. Okay. Hi, guys. Can everybody hear me?
Can people
All right,
hear
let me turn
me?
off this. Yeah, I think so. Let me turn off this Christmas music.
I don't hear any Christmas music anymore.
Ah, oh, well, yeah. Jewett says, speak, Jill, speak.
I have spoken.
Okay, I think we sound good. You guys, I think I may have solved the guest star issue, and that is that we will stop using guest star. And when people are coming on, we will use Zoom because Zoom will go to Twitch. So, very exciting.
Wicked
Let me
smart,
see.
wicked smart.
I came up with this the other day. And yes, Robin. Hey, Robin. Yes, that starting screen, I made it this morning. I found all of these little videos of the Elf on the Shelf, and they were free on Canva. So I was like, has anybody else ever did Elf on the Shelf for their kids? My kid was a little bit too old once that came out. Druid, my long-suffering mod,
Now, I
my
will say the
darling.
one bummer is I can only see the chat by having your stream up on my phone.
Oh,
Because
well,
all I see is a Zoom meeting with you.
yeah, because you don't have, yeah, with guest star, you would have the other thing. Yeah, sorry about that. Well,
Just so you know for other people.
good to know. That's good to know.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we could have our own private chat.
That's true. Well, I saw like on the bottom of my screen it said like chat open, and I opened it thinking it was the chat, and like, no, it's you. I'm like, so we can
It is
talk
me.
about everybody else.
Ah,
So yeah, guys, if you see me like
so
looking down, I'm looking at my phone to like see what's up on the chat.
it's okay. We know you get bored halfway through.
I
So,
do. I do.
oh, swims with whales. It's so good to see you. Plot quilt. Hello, hello. Let's see, I think that's everybody that has chatted. Got some lurkers, I know, but
Oh my God, my friend Patty's in the chat. Hey, Patty.
all right. Lisa. Hey, girl. Oh my gosh.
I know
So
it's
exciting.
people that like we don't often see at 2
I
p.m.
know people we haven't seen in a while. So I'm glad that I'm knocking on wood that this seems to be going well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so as you guys probably have guessed, if you didn't see my note the other day or my update the other day, was that Jill will be on today to share more goodies with us. So I just get to sit back and ooh and ah with you guys. She is hey Wonky. So she is been getting some shipments of some fantastic items for her inventory, and she will probably not put these things in your inventory for a while, maybe.
It
Um,
depends. It all depends on what, because
yeah.
like the last unboxing
So,
we did, I've already listed quite a few of those things that,
oh, have you? Okay.
yep, that went
Okay.
like that.
Haven't been paying attention. Well,
Well, you're
nonetheless,
fired.
we get to see the stuff first. And I was thinking this morning, I was like, people like unboxing videos. Like, I
They
don't
really
like
do.
that. Yeah, and when I first like that be first became a big thing on YouTube, I was like, and my niece and nephew loved that stuff, and they were little, and I was like, "Oh, why? Why do you want to watch other kids open toys? Like that's so weird." But then I thought back to the times when I have worked in retail um, in receiving. And if you've ever worked in a place, I won't name any names, Joanne Fabrics, where they just get big boxes of crap and you have
Yep.
no idea until you start
Yep.
digging around in there. For instance, you just get this giant box for the jewelry aisle and you have no idea. So you go in there and be like, oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, look
Mhm.
at this.
Oh my God, I'm having
It's
flashbacks of running inventory at Joann's.
so yes, work very quiet for everyone. Yeah, I feel like in these few days before Christmas, people either totally slack off or they're already, leaving to do things. So
Well, my partner said to
all the
me,
all the better for us.
he said to me today, he's like, work tomorrow will either be dead or nuts.
Yeah.
So, but you
Yeah,
know
for
what's
sure.
funny is the thing that I love, like I feel the same way about the Joanne's thing when I think about it. Like that was exciting. Um, Putting it all away where you got just like two of this and two of this, that was not exciting. But I found that not only do I enjoy this unboxing because like, you know, it's fun to like show and people get excited about, it's exciting for me too, especially because what happened is I purchased a, a volume of items from a dealer friend or who is downsizing. Sorry, a collector friend who's downsizing. And they're just coming in, you know, it's just like send me another box, send me another box because it's expensive. She could never do one big box. So I don't know what's in each box either. I just know the general stuff. So it's fun for me too to like, you know, it's like a present that I get to share. So like it's like quadruply exciting.
Oh my gosh, Molly. Performance fleece. Okay, that's the opposite of joyful unboxing. That's like the day that you get fleeced at Joanne, which is when
Yeah.
you're like, I've never been suicidal, but now I understand.
You know,
And I don't mean to
luckily
joke.
when
Go
I
ahead.
worked at Joanne, they didn't the fleece wasn't like this big rage because I worked for Joanne's literally 20 years ago. No,
Oh,
22 years
yeah.
ago. 22 years ago. Fleece wasn't a big thing. But it's funny, I used to have I was in nail school at the time, and I used to have my nails painted all the time. And people would ask why my nails looked like swiped paint. And I was like, it's the formaldehyde on the fabric taking my polish off. Like it's oh the
Oh,
things we went
oh
through.
gosh. Performance fleece equals asbestos, yes. Oh my gosh, you guys, we could probably share hours and hours worth of like retail trauma. I'm sure if you haven't been in retail, you've probably waited tables and like all of that stuff is like you could spend
Like
hours, right?
service trauma, retail trauma. It's
This time of year, I get real triggered.
mm-hmm,
Um, but before I forget, I do have our usual like top of the show housekeeping things before we can
mm-hmm,
get into your
mm-hmm.
your lovely box. So I don't know where Double T went today, but I've been trying to do the creativity spark things.
What is that?
And last it's I think you dropped in on my stream the other day, right about the time that Druid said, that looks like a pregnancy test.
I must have my internet was bad that day, so I didn't stick around. 50 ways to ignite brain. Interesting.
Yeah, it's by Chronicle Books. You know, they always have those like cutesy little things, and it's
Yeah.
got like they're all like little matchsticks,
Oh, that's
but also look like
cute.
pregnancy sticks.
I
Pregnancy
mean,
test sticks.
if you're testing if to be pregnant with a match, you might have
Well,
there might
you
be
know,
other problems.
when it's in a turtle puppet's hand, you really don't know.
Oh, was the
So I'm
turtle
saying
wait, was the turtle pregnant?
no, Double T
Okay.
is as far as I know, not able to conceive children. I don't need a bunch of turtles running around. That's all I got to say.
That would be really cute
So
though.
the one from the other day said, tune everything else out, listen to just yourself. Very good. Very, very good advice. Today,
Give
give yourself a
yourself
time limit.
okay.
Give yourself a time limit. I think that is really good advice for myself because I tend to do something and then rehash it, right?
Mhm.
I write a piece and then I read it 12 times just to make sure,
Mhm.
right? So you really have to give yourself time limits. And I think this time of year, especially, um, you know, if you're going into the next few days of Molly, I think you said um panic cleaning. And in my case, wrapping half the presents and then throwing the rest in like salvaged Walmart bags that I just stick a bow on. Um, that will be happening this weekend. And so, you know, give yourself a time limit to do things. And if you don't get it done, then oh well. Nobody's gonna die unless you're a brain surgeon. So you know what? Take the time you need.
You know specifically that we are watched by brain surgeons.
I know, right? So brain surgeons, rocket scientists, you guys take the time that you need, and the rest of us will set a time limit. Um, Lisa, 2 quilts to finish before I hope it's just the binding. Oh my gosh, you guys crack me up. So anyway, before I forget, I came to my desk today and I had this. Now this is my Christmas stocking.
Of course
It's
it is.
mine. This is this is the one I've had for many. You know, when I bought this, I think it came from Target or something. And my husband has like a big shaggy Sasquatch looking one. There was a hat that went with this, and I wore it to work. And I think I must have left it at work, and then like I, obviously left that employment. I don't have the hat anymore, and the hat is really the cute part. It was like, a hat. So anyway, I have this, and it's got something in there, and it says, "Do not open until 2 p.m. December 21st, 2023." Well, it happens to be December 21st, 2023, and according to my clock, it's 2:13, so I think I'm okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this, and we'll see what's in it. So, oh wow, it's like, really hard to get this out of here. Oh my gosh, double T. You rascal.
Looks like someone's
Oh,
got some jelly going on there.
yes, yes. You brought the advent calendar jelly. Double T. Oh my gosh, Druid, yes. Winter solstice. This is a big day for you. Is it today?
Yeah,
Or did I
it's
think it was
today.
yesterday?
Mhm.
Yes, it is today. Is the first day of winter. Yeah, it'll be getting dark at what time?
4:15 for
In an
me.
hour?
Yeah, right. It's short.
I
But the nice
literally
thing is
think
it's the shortest day of the year. So starting tomorrow, we're gonna start gaining like a minute every day.
yes, 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 yes. I know. So, well, I don't know what sort of greetings you have for the solstice other than happy solstice. So, and I'm glad you're here, Druid. You are a wonderful addition to this show. And winter greetings. So, do I get to taste this?
Oftentimes for Yule, we say like brightest blessings.
Oh, brightest blessings.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Blessed solstice. Okay. I tend to like just happy holidays. And I
It
don't
covers it.
say
It covers
that.
it all.
It covers everybody, and I know there have been people in my family that are like, "Oh, I can't say Merry Christmas." I'm like, well, because not everybody celebrates Christmas. And also, like, there's other holidays going on, even if you do celebrate Christmas. So how about we just get it all?
Well,
So from Thanksgiving until New Year's, I say happy holidays.
I often say happy holidays, but if someone says Merry whatever to me, I just say thank you, you too. Like I've had people wish me a good Hanukkah. Like, I'm not Jewish, but thanks, you too. Like I kind of think like season's greetings or season's greetings.
Oh, wow. Drew just said, time stands still for 3 days. Christmas Day will be the first day that we have one more minute of sunlight. The sun will be born. Oh, that is so interesting. Okay. I
I've
learn
never
something new every
noticed
day.
that part because I was so depressed that I'm just checking every day for when it starts getting longer.
Yeah. I just, because I haven't worked in an office in a really long time. But I just remember my last corporate job where I was there regularly. I just remember like you go to work and it's dark and you come out and it's dark again.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
and I don't know about you, but like my last office job, didn't have any windows. So I didn't even
I
see
don't
the
know that.
passage of time, for the day.
I don't know if I could do
It
that.
messes you up like big time.
It does. I did have
But make
that
me feel
situation for
better
a
with
little
some
while.
jelly.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put you down to eat. Okay.
Oh, you are not the father.
Oh gosh. Okay, today you guys, and I don't know if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll know that 2 days ago I had figs. Figs. Oh. And
Like
then
an actual fig?
yesterday no. So for anybody that is not aware of this situation, so I got a Bon Maman advent calendar. I bought it for myself because I love a jam and a jelly. And every day you get a little tiny jar. And I would say thus far, they have all been very delicious. And then I knew the fig was coming because they put the types of the flavors are printed on the package. You just don't know what you're getting what day. And the fig finally came, and I said, I just do not like figs. It's a whole mouthfeel. It's um it had cardamom in it though. Cardamom is a great spice. So I thought, okay, maybe cardamom can make up for the fact that figs are disgusting. There was not a hint of cardamom anywhere in that that jam, or it's a preserve actually, it's not a jam. So anyway, I've been playing like a fake food critic, and I have been posting every day on Instagram my opinion of these. And inevitably the most delicious ones are their seasonal flavors that you just can't buy, which was the case yesterday. It was orange, guava, lime. And I mean, literally, I could have just eaten like a bowl of it with a spoon. It was so good. Kind of tasted like one of those like fruity summer drinks, but also like just tropical bliss. It was wonderful.
I mean,
And it was,
I will gladly eat the fig for you. Like I like fig jelly.
well, unfortunately, and actually you can get just plain fig preserves, the brand. You can get those here in the US. Seems like they have kind of a different sort of um like selection in Europe. And I don't think I haven't seen Bisbee. She might be here, but she was able to get like a bunch of stuff, and she was able to get the advent calendar for her mother-in-law, and it
Mhm.
was sold out here in the US. So anyway, this is what I do every day, and days I stream, I save my tasting for the stream. Happy marijuana. Oh gosh.
Oh, Patty.
Okay. So the flavor is pineapple ginger. This might be good.
I
This
don't
could be
know. I
good.
don't know. I don't know.
Okay, it smells like pineapple.
I'm really sus about the ginger.
Okay, this is a jelly. This is definitely a jelly. I don't see any bits of pineapple in here, so I don't think it's a preserve.
It looks like Jello.
This is actually very good.
Wow, that's not where your face was going.
Well, it is very good. It's very pineapple-y. I'm only getting a little bit of ginger.
Oh, good, because I like pineapple,
This is
but I
another
don't.
one of those. This is another one that would be good on like meat. And that's where I've actually had a lot of bon maman. If you ever subscribe to one of those meal kit services like HelloFresh, they for a long time would send these when they did like you make a pan sauce.
Mhm.
Like you just like saute some chicken and then you make a
Yeah.
pan sauce.
No, Sunday makes
And
some
you
really
could do,
good pan sauce.
yeah, they would send you like literally a little jar of this or whatever flavor, and it's a perfect amount. You just scoop it in there with the some butter and
Mm.
the crispy meat scrapings. It's so delicious. So, okay. That was a 2 thumbs up. I would probably give it a 8 out of 10. Very
Mhm.
delicious.
Mhm.
Okay. Um,
Mhm.
Druid, did you mean me as an HR person? Because I've long ago left that profession. Although I believe Lisa is an HR person presently. So turn your head, Lisa, if we have the marijuana around here. We're kidding. Okay. All right. Hijinks done. So what do you got to show us?
Oh, you're ready? Just like that? All right. All right. All
I
right.
am, yeah. Usually I BS for a little while and I eat some jam and then
Yes, Elrig's HR really sucks. It's really not fun. Well, first we have some bubble wrap, my favorite.
okay.
They're big bubbles too. Let's see here. Oh, it looks like the very
My
first thing on
cats fear
top
those.
is a quilt. Oh.
Ah, yeah, she's been putting quilts in there, right, to like pad everything.
Mm-hmm. Her husband packs these boxes, and I swear he draws up plans. Some of the weird. Okay, it looks like okay. Ugh. Ugh. I mean, he's a weirdo, but I love him. Okay, first is a quilt, so I will.
Ooh.
This backing's really cute. It's like a blue. Where is the front? Ooh. Oh God. Oh my God, I love it.
Oh, that is pretty. Now, is that pink or is that like a red print?
I would say it's a small red on white. Hold on, I'll get it close. And it looks to be all the same. Looks like it's not scrappy.
Um,
Hold on.
oh, I love that blueprint. Oh, that's so cool.
I like the sashing. That's what's on the back too, is that sashing.
Okay. Now, what kind of time frame do you think? The blue, of course, like that to me is like late
Well,
1800s or early
yeah.
1900s.
You know what would what throws me is this backing sashing fabric. I'd have to,
That looks,
it looks newer. So I'd have to
yeah, I was
like
gonna say that looks sort of graphically newer.
and it's like a, I don't know if it's faded at all, but it's kind of like a grayish blue. So I wonder
Hmm.
potentially are we dealing with older blocks set later?
Hmm.
So I'd actually have to look that, I'd have to do some research into that because like I feel like we don't start to get that grayish blue until we almost hit the 30s.
Right. Yeah. I'm thinking about the print. I'm terrible about the colors. Like I think that like greenish, like from the of the 20s is the only one that I can really identify, or the
Mm-hmm.
30s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm terrible with the colors, but I feel like the print itself looks like later on.
Do you think this
Like
looks
it's
older than
definitely
30s? So you're saying?
what the grayish, no, I'm saying that looks like much newer than, like, I
Oh,
would say
okay.
30s to 50s,
Okay.
you know? But
Mm-hmm.
the red and the blue to me look old.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel
I
like we've
mean
been running.
like when I first look at it, I could immediately think like 1880s.
Yeah, that's what I think of that
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 1880s, 1900. So I'm wondering, is this another case of old blocks, new
Set later.
setting,
Yeah.
or
It
newer
very well
setting?
could be. Very well could be.
Hmm.
It is, oh my God, I love it. I'm not paying any attention to the chat, sweetheart, so you're gonna have to pay attention to the chat for me.
Yes, Molly says the print looks 30ish.
Mm-hmm.
Fog Quilt says looks mint.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else says pretty, pretty.
No one's asking
Um,
anything to see though, right? I can fold it up.
yeah.
Okay.
What is that? What is that block configuration? It's on something on point, like 64
Um,
patch on point.
2, 3. It's got half triangles too, so it'd be like 13 blocks on point
Yeah,
with like setting triangles. I'm sure there's like a name for it. I just don't know it off the top of my head.
yeah.
And I do have a Brackman handy, but it would take too long to look up.
Yeah, as last time when I was trying to look something up and still haven't found it.
Okay.
We got to get better at our Brackman, looking up our Brackman stuff.
I wonder if she can just like recall everything in the book off the top of her head.
Probably not, but Barbara's got a really good memory from what I've been
Yeah.
told. She remembers stuff, so there's no telling. Mary Kay does too.
Yep.
Um, yeah. I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking I'm already forgetting the things I learned a couple years ago.
Oh man.
What kind of bad quilt researcher am I?
That's something big. Half me is like holding this, like I don't remember getting something this big. I'm afraid of like,
So did she sort of give you like a pick and choose situation, or did you say, friend, give me everything in that room?
so if I were to say that, we would be sending boxes for the next 30 years. The rooms are packed.
Yeah, I've seen
No,
pictures.
she's been going through and down and picking out what she doesn't want and then just sends me photos. And I think of everything she showed me so far that took like 2 weeks. I think I've only said no to like 3 things. Otherwise, I'm just like, we'll make it easy. Oh my
She
God.
is a fantastic collector. She has really awesome stuff.
Wow. I don't. She also said, she also asked me at one point, like, can I just also throw in things I think you would like? And to, you know, full disclosure, I've paid for these items. She's not giving me things. She said, you know, like, can I throw stuff in I think you'll like? And of course I'm like, absolutely, because she knows what I like and I trust her. This is
Yeah,
not something
she's got good taste.
yeah, this is not something I recall picking out. It's a
Okay.
box with 3 drawers. I'm just going to show you the top of it first.
Oh my goodness.
So
Is that like leather or paper? Is it paper?
it feels leathery, but it could be pleather.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's got like a
But
Victorian.
it's like stamped. Or is that just painted on?
Mm, well, the gold looks painted,
Mm-hmm.
but some of it is definitely like a relief stamp kind
Mm-hmm.
of. So it's got 3 drawers, and it kind of, it kind of reminds me of a DMC box.
Oh.
One of those little ones. Because like, look, we got like a little like, decoration on the corner here.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And even like the little drawers are stamped.
Oh my goodness. And those little tiny drawer pulls. Oh my gosh. I love
And
stuff like that.
there's stuff in them. It's like
Of
a
course.
teddy.
Yes. It would not be sent to you empty because that's more protection for the treasures.
Oof, come out.
Right, Molly? DMC boxes? Yeah. I see those and I'm just like too rich for my blood because
So
everybody
in the
wants one.
first, hold on, I'm gonna have to kind of reposition my camera a little bit here. Yes, I'm wearing
Oh,
quilt
look at
nerd.
that quilt nerd shirt.
So in the first drawer, we have a bunch of thread and
Hmm.
then something here.
Ooh, it's a sort of a scissor-sized box,
It says
maybe?
celebrity sewing kit. It looks kind of
Oh, it's
70s.
a sewing kit.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
I like the scissors in there. Okay, so that's
Yeah, that's
drawer number
cute.
1. I really like this.
And they look like they're sort of cardboard drawers.
Like a really like a cardboard / particle board.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do have a little bit of give to them, but they're pretty sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so this has a couple of wrapped up thing. Oh no, it's not wrapped up. It's just to take up space. Okay. Oh, this is so cute. This looks up your alley, Kate.
Oh, how adorable. Oh, look at her little dress under. She got her little pantaloons under there.
That's why I said like that's like right up your alley.
Oh,
They're
the
cute.
standard jumble of cute little spools.
Yes,
Oh,
Molly, a
that
real
looks like mint condition too.
yeah, it's in good shape. Molly, yes, a real DMC box is ridiculously expensive.
Pantaloons.
There's
Yeah,
also a
is it an
little
Altoids too?
Altoids case. If it's old grandma Altoids. Oh, 7,000 pins.
Ah,
I was like, wow,
are
this
the
feels oddly heavy.
yeah, are
And
their safety pins? Those are also gold because have you guys bought a safety pin recently? I mean, even like
I
the
buy these special ones to put on the quilts that are curved and small.
right, yes, those are even those. I actually bought some of those and they were kind of crap, but like your regular old
Really? I
safety
haven't had any
pins,
problem with them.
um,
But I'm not actually using them to like safety pin shit together. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Then there's also just this like little case with some more thread.
Lisa, yeah, glass jars. That's probably my downfall is like I put too many things in boxes that I can't see through.
Mm-hmm.
Then I forget what I have. Yeah.
And then this looks like it's another kind of menagerie. Oh, that's cute. Look at this little pillbox.
Aw. Oh my gosh, the little scissors.
And then it's got just a little spool of thread in it. Like that's not quite, I think, what people are generally using these for, but um and then just bits and bobs. Some hooks, some pins, there's a couple of tape measures. Um these are some tiny little safety pins.
Ooh, yeah, those are good ones.
They were 10 cents at Meyer and Frank Company. So yeah, that's what's up in that little box of doodah.
So many treasures.
Yeah, this
I
box is
I
just
love
like,
that, like going to an auction or like a thrift store or whatever, and you find stuff like that, and it's of course it's never in that good a condition, but you'll find stuff like that, and you know that the people are like they don't know sewing, and they're like, oh, I just want to
Mhm.
get rid of this thing, like
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I'll take it. I'll get rid of the things that are trash, and I'm like, because they just don't know what they have, and there's so much good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I don't recall seeing or picking that box out.
So Lisa, are you talking about jars from IKEA? Do they have like those big canistery kind of ones? I haven't been to an IKEA in a while. We have
I haven't either.
two. Yeah, we have two kind of locally, but they're probably an hour drive for me either direction, so
I only have
I don't make
one,
it
but
very
it's like
often.
an hour drive. Here is another quilt.
Ooh.
I do remember this one. So, oh, actually, is this, hold on, hold on, hold on. So this is like a cover. It's just like a completed top, but a fully finished top. Like they finished the edges and everything.
Hmm.
So it might just be meant as kind of like a bed throw. Does that
Hmm.
make sense? So one thing that I thought was really cool is they put like this fringe on it.
Yeah.
I thought
I
it
feel
was,
like there was definitely a time when that was really popular to put
yes,
fringe and lace and junk around the edges of
yes.
stuff.
So let me get back here.
Yes, you do have to take a compass, Lisa. Send out your homing pigeon. Oh, wow. Holy Moses, those are giant wig roses or
Mhm.
Democrat roses or something else.
That's all they
Does
are.
I don't know if does it become something different when it's got that stuff in the middle?
I forget, like a crown. I forget.
Yeah, that is amazing. And
Yeah.
is all that applique on?
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Those are giant appliques.
So yeah, it's just meant to kind of just be like a pretty bed throw. It's just the top. It has no batting, no backing. It's not like quilted.
Gotcha. Okay. So you can literally see like the applique
Hmm.
lines and stuff on the back.
Yep. And they just finished the seam and added the fringe.
Hmm. Very
In
nice. Very nice.
I liked it because I love this kind of applique, of course, but it's also just different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is different. And yeah, to finish it, I guess you'd have to take that fringe off.
I
I
mean,
don't know though.
actually,
I don't.
you probably wouldn't have to if you like hand quilted it and then
Mm-hmm.
did like a knife edge binding.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know. I don't hate it as
no, I
not
don't hate
being
it.
finished because it's applique, and I guess if they Molly, it looks like they did a really nice job, like, with knots and hiding thread strings and all that
Hmm.
junk. I always cringe at the pieced ones that don't have a back
Hmm.
because it's like, oh, but yeah, I don't hate that they did that way.
No, I found it to be very interesting. And the appliques, nice and still bright and
Look away, Molly. Look away.
this is our last item because this box was almost exclusively full.
Ah!
Nothing like that box with 52 sewing items in it. Oh,
Yeah, I
by
guess
the
you've
way,
taken all that out.
I didn't show you the last few things from that box, so I'll show you that too.
Okay, cool. Because
Because
yeah, I was like,
remember,
well,
yeah, remember we ran out of time. Okay.
Molly and Lisa are gonna fight over who's not it to get that to buy that bedspread.
This one has a lot of blue and very pretty
Oh
quilting.
no,
What?
log.
What happened?
Try to refresh. Okay. Yeah, if that happens, if you get like a black screen or anything goes funky with the video, usually refreshing works.
I was gonna say, what did I do? I didn't touch anything.
Nah, it's Twitch.
Is Padma here? This is a 9 patch.
Ooh. Yeah, Padma loves the 9 patch. Oh, there's some pink ones in there. How pretty. Oh, there's that like orangey, yellowy, cheddary one. Oh, looks like there might be a little bit of fussy cutting going on in there too. Sort of fussy. I don't
Are
know.
you talking about this brown down here?
Yeah, that's got kind of red. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they didn't really fussy cut it, but they definitely cut it to make sure there was a red,
Yeah,
that
there's
red
some
circle thing in there.
homespun. We have black. So we're definitely on the older scale. Unless I'll go with this blue feels older.
It looks like it's in really good condition too, regardless of age.
Yes. Um, so yeah, we've got cheddar. Look at this. I love this print. Look at this print.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, little roses.
Oh, this red's pretty sexy too.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. I like that.
Quite a bit of black. Some
Hmm.
nice browns. I like this like just nice simple border with this shirting print as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then just a very simple back, but very nice quilting on it. It's hard to see on the camera, I know.
So what do you think? Are you looking at some of this as being 1800s, 1880s?
Some of it, yes, but like the black's gonna send us into later. Because we don't get black. What is it like? We don't get black to like 1890? Um,
Um, my my Eileen Chastain book puts 1880 through 1910 together. So I was
yeah, I
just
know. But I
I'd
mean,
grab it and flip through it and
I'm pretty sure it's like 1890 that we don't start to get black.
yeah, she doesn't have, did I skip it? She blacks at the beginning. Oh yeah, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Cute how you just like had that right there.
I keep this one on my desk. The Brackman is too
Mine
big.
mine is
That
on my desk too. Although the one
oh,
that I have two copies, the one that's on my desk is not the one with the spine thing.
oh, you mean spiral binding?
Yes. I have one of
Oh,
them, but the one that's on my desk here is not spiral bound. It's just a regular Joe Schmo.
I didn't know it came like that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
the second printing, like the next printings are like this.
Ah, okay.
Um, I just happened to get this one. So remember when I was out antiquing and I found the second datings book for like $1?
Yes. Ugh.
This one was free in that pile. I actually just went to that antique store again last week when I was taking videos, and I checked on that table real good.
You guys, I don't know if you ever heard about this, but so the Dating Fabrics book, this one's the 1800 to 1960. This is a really good book. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it if you want to get into understanding fabrics and old quilts. Barbara Brackman also has some really great Clues in the Calico, but this one is literally like you just flip through it and you've got little swatches. So highly recommend this one. There is a second copy or a second edition, and that one is 1960 to like what, the 2000s, I guess. I don't know how late it goes, but that second one is obscenely expensive. Like, I think I bought this one for probably $10 or $15 on 8 books. And I've seen it for more expensive. I've seen it for cheaper, but it's like an affordable book. But the later one, they must not have printed as many because I've never seen that one for less than like $60. And then Jill walks into an antique store and finds it for like $3 or $1 or something like that. And I was like, I hate you.
Yeah, that was it's this pile of books that they keep by the front door, and what it is it's dealers getting rid of their reference books that they use.
Mhm.
There's always like glassware and blah. It was just sitting right on top, and I literally, so funny. I walked through the door with my boyfriend, and I literally like, oh my God. And then I pick it up, and underneath it was the first book, and that one was free. And I was just like, these are mine. And Sunny's like, don't you already have that book? And I'm like, that's not the point. And yeah, it's like the best find of my life.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's so funny. Molly thought that I said that the Black Prince will send us into labor, and I totally said later. But apparently we're still on the pregnancy thing from the top of the hour.
That would look perfect at my 8-bedroom summer house in Sag Harbor. I agree. Definitely.
So I'm just trying to think. So on the last unboxing I did, we looked at this pincushion, correct? With
We
the
did.
drawer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So there's another one that's definitely by the same guy, but it's not like made the same way.
Okay. I feel like that was one of the last things we looked at. There may have been
Yep.
like a couple of other, but yeah. That's a littler one. Yeah? Oh,
No,
it's about the same size?
it's the same size, pretty much. Actually, the chair actually looks just a little bit wider. It's a lighter wood. There's
Mhm.
no drawer. The other one does have a spot in the top, but this one has spools. This one has a spot that's made better for scissors.
Oh, in the back of it.
The other
Oh.
one, the slot runs the whole width. So your
So
stuff can bang
like
around.
this is
So I like the way this one's set up better for scissors, but yeah, still like all handmade by that guy. This one doesn't have his stuff on it, although he burned a C into the bottom.
huh.
But yeah.
I love to find that stuff, and you
Mhm.
have one of the rocking chairs that's made out of the tin can, or the chair that's made of the tin can.
You know how many of these
Um,
I've seen now since
oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
opening
Yours is
this?
black. Mine is white. But yes, if you once you start look because you're like, I remember when I found mine, I was like, I've never seen these before. And then all of a sudden when I bought it, my inbox was just flooded with like, oh look at these unique pincushions. I'm like, they're not that unique because there's a zillion of them, but I've
Mhm.
never seen a black one. I do have to say that. That's very unique.
The other thing is that remember this pincushion with the weird print?
Yes, yes, yes.
Apparently these are kind of a big deal.
Really?
I started looking them up a little bit, and I have found a couple others with this print. But apparently they were pretty sought after, and I was like, okay.
Oh. Were they like some type of special edition or special release or something or
Not that I found yet. Um, but I guess they were. I'm just trying to think, what else did I not show you?
So Molly, you put the pins like right in the chair cushions.
Wait, did Molly just ask where do you put pins?
Now Lisa said that you could put your pins on that chair instead of her chair. And she says it keeps her husband out of the sewing chair. Yeah. I put
Oh,
pins in the armrest too. I'm also bad for putting like a threaded needle, like tucking a threaded needle just right here and forgetting it's there. Or, just like tucking it right here, like on my shirt.
oh my.
Well, I mean, if I just like need to adjust something, I need both hands, then I just
Mhm.
put it there and, I don't know.
Mhm.
This is what
I
happens when you hand sew a lot.
I was gonna say I don't do a ton of handwork yet. I really aspire to, believe me. Um, so I'm sure that there will come a time that I will. Although I will say my friend Jackie, she has this thing that's a
Is it like a
magnet.
needle minder? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. She clips her scissors to it, but I was just like, oh, maybe maybe you need to be putting it. And then she says she forgets and goes to bed with her scissors like hanging on her. But yeah, maybe you need to be putting like a needle minder there so that you're not threading your life. It's a great way to make cleavage. I don't know. Like, I
well,
don't
what's more embarrassing is to going to the store and you're standing at the checkout at
know.
the
Yeah,
grocery store
you
and you're
must
like,
look like a weirdo.
never mind this.
You'll be like, I don't have any money. Do you need your pants hemmed? I'm just trying to think if there's that chair might have actually been the only thing left.
Oh,
Oh, wait. I don't know. These might. Did we look at these?
no.
Yeah, so these like little lovebirds,
Hmm.
and they each have a pincushion on them.
Oh, those are cute. I
And
don't know
these
that I've
ones
ever
are
seen anything.
these ones are Japan.
Yeah, Occupy Japan. Yeah. Oh, so cute. I don't think I've ever seen ones like that.
No. And I mean it's a bummer that the pin cushions are well used because it would almost have to be display only, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then I think that was pretty much it.
So see if I could actually reach it without knocking everything down.
You can do it.
This is my chair. Uh, ignore the dust.
It's so funny. Your pin cushion. So my cushion on here is corduroy.
Mine's like
Your
a velvety.
yeah, yours looks far more
Velvety.
fancier than mine.
Yeah, but mine's got some rust. There's like rustiness
Oh,
there.
maybe you need to paint yours black.
Maybe I do. But it's so funny because I mean you can totally tell when you look at it, like that's a tin can, and
I
just
can tell
how they
now that you told me.
yeah, how they cut it into strips and then,
Yeah,
did this like
roll it up.
yeah, I mean it's I think I've seen them listed as like saying like tramp art.
Hmm.
And I guess it kind of like falls into that like folk arty kind of, you know. And there's I mean I don't want to say no two are alike, but I think there's a lot of variation in them.
Molly just
So,
called it your prison art pincushion.
well, you know, when you're doing 20 at Leavenworth.
I mean, I certainly would never have thought to come up with this, so but it could be a great way to like make some money, I guess. Um, I saw some the other day in an antique show. Oh, I love those kinds.
Yeah. These are also very ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Hey, where's that person? We had this person that came on the stream the other day and was like asking us, and I'm like, why does this stream seem like a bunch of people that could tell you what the meaning of a word? But they wanted to know if ubiquitous was being used correctly in the sentence they had, and we were like, no.
They just came in and asked you that and left.
They kept asking, and thankfully Druid sent them a thesaurus link. So, yeah. So, um, actually, why don't I see it? Ah, there he is.
Thanks for
I
the
have this.
breasts.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. This is something, oh, it's so dusty. It came to me dusty.
Oh, it's someone else's dust, not mine.
Well, it's somebody else's dust, and then I got my dust on top. Of course, now I'm gonna like drop all of it on the floor. I just lost something out of there.
I really am
But anyway,
enjoying the quilt top behind you.
with this one,
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cute.
it's a little creepy. I was gonna pull it out the other day because it's got a little elf on the shelf vibe.
Yeah.
It is literally a little
You
elf
know
on the
what it
shelf.
is to me? It's Elf on the Shelf meets Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, it's a little. It is Occupy
It's
Japan.
it's deranged on a shelf.
Mm-hmm. It's Japan, and it's got this
I
cute.
have those wooden it's those wooden things too. I have two
Yeah.
different sets of them. I didn't know there
So
was one with like a human thing on it.
yeah, usually it's four. It's four little drawers,
Oh, it's
right? My
even
mom
they've
has.
got all different kinds. I have one.
Okay.
I have it's downstairs. I have one where it's like just five drawers. I have another one where it's like six drawers and then a pincushion. There's all different kinds.
Okay, yeah. My mom has one or two of them, and I think they're just four drawer ones. But this one, it's the wood. I don't think is as nice as those. This is some like very. I mean, it's wood, but it looks like cardboard. It's so thin.
Mm-hmm.
So but I just thought that was so cute. I think I got it off eBay
Mhm.
a few years ago, but
I've never
yeah.
seen them with like the whole drawer painted like that. The ones I
Mhm.
have, it's just like a little like stamp kind of painting that says, you know, needles and thread and whatever.
Yeah, and what I have in my drawers, well, I dropped something on the floor. I think it was a little spool of thread, but
The
I
cats will
have
find it.
in the needle drawer. Oh, there's so much stuff down there. Every few weeks I have to crawl around to get all the pins and needles and stuff I drop. I have an upholstery tack
I hear those come in handy.
and this itty bitty little cocoon of thread.
That's so cute.
So adorable. So very cute. But yeah, it's either the cutest thing ever or a thing that you're going to see in your nightmares.
I mean, that clearly tells you who your friends are. You got
Yeah.
anything else cute up there?
Um, yeah, I do have something that I've showed these guys before, but no time like again. Have you ever seen one of these?
I have one of those that's a poodle.
Yes, I've seen the poodle ones too. They are terrifying. Like, why? Why? I mean,
Yep.
it's a nice little area for a pincushion. It's a little
Mhm.
velvety, but like, why? Um, and I'm trying to see, were these Occupy Japan too, maybe? I feel like the cutest and the weirdest stuff came out of Japan from that, like that 20-year span or however long it was.
That
Bing!
that weird span where everything was weird. No, I mean it makes me like it's a bummer because like my collection's downstairs, but I could be like, yes, I have, look, here's a poodle and here's a this, that because like you said, when like, oh, you're unboxing stuff, and I feel like I have everything that you have.
Well, yeah. Speaking of, there was something you posted, and this is another chance for me to knock everything off the shelf. Um,
I'm so here for it.
I totally forgot I had this, and I think you posted it on um maybe mine isn't exactly like yours. Oh yeah, it is. You posted yours on Instagram. I don't think you ever showed it to us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just sold that the other day.
Did you? Yeah, it's
Yep.
so cute. And what's interesting, and he didn't come with scissors. I had to put my own scissors. I bought him in a lot of like it was I think the people thought they were selling like pure trash. Like just pure sewing trash, and then this was sitting
Mm-hmm.
in there. And I was like, okay, they're basically selling this and then all this sewing trash to get you to buy. And I think I got it for like total steal. But it ended up being really good sewing stuff. It was like a whole bunch of unopened like piping and bad binding and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which I do use to make things.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily for their intended purpose, but I do use them in my work. So, haha, I got one over on them.
You know, it's funny because when I was kind of like searching to like price that out, I I didn't realize that like there's a ton of them out there and the prices vary wildly. Um
Mhm. Yeah, and I
and
mean a lot of it is
I did not expect mine to just go like that.
mm, yeah,
Didn't you say
I
too
think
that you had one of these?
I do not, but
I
I've
thought you
seen
said
that
you
before.
did, that you had, you know, it was like a dog or a bear, you know, you weren't sure if it was a dog or a bear or something.
Oh no, mine was the one where I thought mine was a cat, and it turned out to be
No, 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 no. That's these.
yeah,
That's
right.
these.
Yeah, that's the only thing
This
I
is
have.
totally different.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Oh, I thought you said you had one of those.
Yeah. So let's see. Jared was saying when these things were made, there wasn't so much stuff readily available. Interesting things from Japan were rare possessions and novelty. Yes, you're absolutely right. And the funny thing is, I think that let's see, this one yeah, this is Japan too. Um these things were like considered like I don't necessarily something like this, but I feel like a lot of the things that were coming from Japan were just like these cheap like it was like, oh, these cheap paper mache and cheaply made items. And it's like they're not really that cheaply made, you know. By our standards today, and they are very collectible, and when they're in good condition, they're awesome. Um And it was such a specific time period, you know, and it was for the export market. It was, you know, Japan was occupied. I mean, it was like this very like political, and also I feel like it was like the beginning of like kind of the dime store stuff, you know? Um
Or I mean, just
like
the, like tourist kind of stuff, because I feel like people would buy
yeah,
things like
yeah.
that when they're tourists.
Yeah,
And
like I know like
even
that.
and it wasn't just Japan either. Like that, I'm pretty sure it's that little turtle. That one's Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan. So Taiwan, what they've been independent since the 40s, I think.
Oh my God, don't even I cannot spout that kind of history off the top of
Yeah,
my
I
head.
can't either. I think I only can say that because I saw something recently, which I don't want to get into today because I mean the news today is not great, but um
Is
meaning the
it
present
great
time.
any day?
But yeah, the point being, at one time that stuff I feel like they were like, to give you an example, like Woolworths. Woolworths has been around like what,
Oh,
since
I
18
miss
whatever.
school. Yeah.
And
Sports.
you know, you would go into the, you know, the dime store and you'd get things like you know, blown glass ornaments from Germany. Like you could buy stuff like that, and then you get this influx of Japanese goods and Taiwanese goods, and it's like, well, those things aren't as good. They're like cheap knockoff stuff. But today we're like, this stuff is awesome. Yes, Molly, the Japanese singer clones. Exactly. Because Japanese manufacturing is actually pretty good, you know? Even with like little tchotchkes. And compared to today, some of like the stuff where cost cutting has gotten it so like utterly shitty,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that stuff is amazing by today's standards.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
I find it interesting now that like they've become so collectible
Hmm.
because they're not like generally like not with the lion there, but other stuff is a lot rarer because people finding it now, the average Joe Schmo doesn't value it. So there is a rarity created because people
Hmm.
throw them out instead of being like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like a little piece of history. Like the number of the made in Japan ones I find are a good amount and varied. Like I feel like Japan did nothing but made pincushions for so many years because there's so many different ones around.
I know, and just cute little sewing tchotchkes and stuff. Yeah, and they still
Molly,
do.
yeah,
You know,
Molly,
stuff coming out of Japan today is awesome.
their Singer clones are better than anything Singer made kind of once you get into the oh my God, what's that Singer model? Dress something?
The dressmaker?
It could be Dressmaker.
Yeah, I think
The
that's
one you can't get parts for anymore. And it's garbage. I forget which one it is. But there is one from like the 50s maybe. Like I feel like once Singer got to like there, like everything else is just
oh, the
crap.
touch and sew. The singer touch and
Maybe it's
the
the
singer
touch and sew.
touch and sew is like the travesty of all singers. My
Yeah,
mom
maybe
had
it's the
one.
touch and sew.
Actually, my mom has one, and she took very good care of it. She actually worked for a fabric store that had a sewing machine repair guy. So she always had it serviced. But the problem with those is the just nylon just disintegrates
Mm-hmm.
eventually. It breaks down. And so that's why those in particular were like super crap singers. Because if people didn't maintain them, then the nylon stuff broke down.
Well, that and if you can't get parts, that's it, you're done for.
Well,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
like,
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
mhm.
JB. Very nice to see you here. Yeah, Molly, totally. I absolutely love being able to like crack open a machine and it's not, you know, like there's not a motherboard in here.
I mean, well, I mean my Bernina definitely has a motherboard in it. Um, but that's the 1090S from like the 90s. That is the newest machine I have. When everyone else is all like, "Oh my God, I got this new Juki." And I'm like, "Don't get me wrong. I'm like, it's very pretty. Yes, it goes fast. It's very quiet." But I'm just like, meh. Like they don't do those bells and whistles do nothing for me.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not. super in love with a lot of the bells and whistles of like super modern machines. If you've ever been to any like the quilting and sewing expo, if that comes to your town, and you've ever taken classes from there, usually what you go in there and it's the sewing machine dealers will have the machines in these classrooms. And so you don't have to bring your own machine and you sew on these machines, and then the dealer might come in and talk to you during the class. And I mean, it's all symbiotic. You get to take a class, you get to look at these machines, the dealers get to talk. It's like all a big symbiotic thing. But I remember sewing on a machine, and we had just bought a new car, and it was not a used car, but it had been like the dealership car, and they were having trouble selling it because it was 5-speed. Now this is like 10 years ago. I think now people would have snapped that car up like in no time, but so we had just bought the car and we got a good deal on it because of the situation, like, but it was still a new car, like it was a brand new car. And we paid, I want to say, like $7,000 less than this sewing machine that I was sewing on like months after we'd bought this car. And I was like, I can't even imagine paying this much for a sewing machine. It was
Seriously.
absurd. Yeah, it
And
was absurd.
most people I know don't use, like, they use like 3 features of this 5,000 feature sewing machine. Like I think I can count on one hand the number of people I've come across that are like, I really use the features. It
Mhm.
seems like the biggest one people get excited about is the automatic thread cutter, which I've never had one, so I don't.
I have
I'm
to admit, the automatic thread cutter is good if you're doing like a back stitch, like if you're doing clothing construction. It's
mhm.
nice because you just cut it, go on. But like sometimes if you're piecing and stuff, you don't necessarily want to do a back stitch, and you also don't want your threads clipped that close, you know? So, hey, Yakamo. Now, automatic needle threader, I got to be honest, I do like those. I messed up the one on my machine.
How do you mess those up?
I tried to thread. I wasn't thinking, and I had a thread in there that was like it was a thicker thread, and the needle was not the right needle for it, and I wasn't thinking, and I just went like you push this little lever down, and it's like this little thing swings around and pushes it in the needle, and I think it bent or something, and I have not been able to figure it out to get it like adjusted again. I'm sure it's a matter of like a really tiny adjustment. But my mom had one. This was a Viking that I made stuff on when I was in high school, and I know she bought it used. So it had to have been from the 70s, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
It had this insane needle threading situation. Like you did the whole wraparound like that you would do with like a normal machine today. Usually it like you have to wrap it onto a little thing like to
Mhm.
catch it, right? And then
Mhm.
push it through. Well, you'd wrap it around, you do that thing, and then you would pull this lever down, and it literally had a little tiny tube, like a tiny little narrow like aquarium tubing. And you'd push this button and it would cause this puff of air and it would suck the thread through the needle. It
Wow,
was
that's
ridiculous.
that sounds like so much more effort than it needs to be.
It was ridiculous, and it only worked about half the time. So I was like, Viking machines are so good, but that automatic thread needle threading technology of the 70s was or 80s, whenever, was not excellent.
Well, it's funny because like the argument, there's, I don't know why, but like whenever I'm in a group of quilters and we're talking about sewing machines and I mention like I really just like vintage machines that just kind of do a couple things, and it turns into this argument about like new versus vintage, and it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't say you had to like them. Like, and also for me, like we've talked about this with our phones, like I'm totally like if it ain't broke kind of person. Because one
Yeah.
thing that makes me very angry about modern machines is the planned obsolescence. Um, I don't like that at all. And especially
Yep.
when you're talking about like these, machines that are like $3,000 to $12,000. Like even when my mom bought her Bernina, I'm sure it was like at least $1,000 in the 90s. Like
Hmm.
I remember it was such a big
Yep.
deal. And like, oh, I got a payment plan, and everyone makes all these arguments, and I was like, if you need to pay $3,000, let's say, and that's low end, for an automatic needle threader and a thread cutter, like, I mean, it's your money, you spend it how you want, but like that sounds like an awful lot of money just for very, very simple features.
Hmm.
You know, if I'm gonna spend that kind of money, it's gonna do my laundry. Like invent a machine like that.
Hmm. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it will cost $1 million to fix them too.
Yeah, so exactly. Those Berninas and like the newer stuff, you have to take them to a licensed or whatever, like an approved dealer mechanic. I mean, it's almost like taking it's like cars, you know,
Mhm,
you're locked into taking your car. I guess if you lease a car, you're locked into taking it to the dealership, right? And you
mhm.
can't just have anybody work on the car. It has to be, you know, like a certified whatever. And that's kind of the way that I mean, the machines are like that too. Um, I know Robin knows them, but the Sewing Doc Academy,
Yep,
um, she I think became I want it was she Bernina? I know she's done a couple of those like, you know,
certifications.
certification
Yep.
to repair, but she's like when they actually had a sewing machine shop, um, well, I think they had like a maybe a quilt shop and sewing machines. Um, she was like, if somebody brought in one of those machines, she'd be like, I void your warranty the second I open it. You know, and you know, they do that on purpose. I mean, it is about the money. And I
Mhm.
mean, it's a shame that I don't, you know, I wish that we could all just repair our sewing machines. It's not, you know, if they're don't have all the computerized guts in them, they really are pretty simple. You know, you just have to, you
A
know,
few
keep them
years
clean,
ago,
get the
I
gunk
took a
out.
2-day workshop from So Purdy workshops. They're out of Kentucky.
Hmm.
It was like $450, I think. They give you all the stuff. A whole big like goodie bag of crap. And it's
Oh,
funny,
okay. So like all the clean tools.
yeah, everything that you need. And then they also bring kind of a little satellite store if you wanted to buy, example, like a set of small tools and things or whatever. Um, it I would definitely take it again because I feel like you're also given a book that he made. He like made his own book. Um, you're given so much info in those 2 days. It's like impossible to absorb it all. But it's funny when we signed up for the class and he like sends out an email about like preparing, he kind of tells you he basically kind of says like bring the shittiest machine you can. He's like it's
Yeah.
really great to learn how to work on your featherweight, but you're going to learn the most. So I had a ton of machines and I went out and shopped for the crappiest piece of garbage, and I found like I mine was covered in rust and junk and just crap. And it came out stunning. Like he was like I'm really excited to work on that machine. Like and we soaked it and we did this and we did like he literally tells you how to take every single piece apart to clean and soak and blah. And like I said, like it was very instructional and like totally worth the money and I would totally do it again, but like I would have a hard time totally going through all that process again just because I don't have someone holding my hand
Yeah, it's
and
that's
it's
one
a
of those
lot.
things like when you yeah, if you take if you're being learning how to take like an entire machine apart, yeah. You have to start doing it regularly right after you
Mhm.
learn or you're not
Mhm.
you don't retain that. Yeah,
No,
it's a
and once
lot.
we were done with the 2-day class, you almost like you like needed like you were hungover.
Yeah. It's probably a lot of information in a 2 day.
Yeah, the bummer is if you live near him, he does those workshops out of his house. They have like a barn or something. If you take workshops multiple times, you get a discount every time you come back. So it's like, damn, I wish I was around there and could, just keep like taking classes for a while, but totally worth it. Totally
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah. I really like you know, the Barney, the Auntie Barney and her I can't remember her husband's name right now, but um yeah, I really liked their classes. You know, I mean it's all online.
I don't think I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, it's SewDoc Academy, so
Oh,
SEW.
they're so dog. Okay.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen
They
some of
were
their
I
videos. I met them. I just couldn't remember who they were. They
I
were at
think they were at
QuiltCon
QuiltCon this past
last
year.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Singer Searcher can't find needles for it. Jared, do you know what year it is? Like or time frame? Because I'm trying to think. I have a brother serger, and it just uses the regular like universal needles. So I don't know. Why does it have to be so complicated? Because that's the only answer I got for you. Um, a Singer 2000, Robin. I don't know. I'm not sure I know which one that is. And I'm terrible with the Singer numbers. It's so funny. A good friend of mine, she sews and sewed, and but she wasn't like obsessed the way we are with like all the things. And she moved back to Indiana. She's originally from Indiana. She moved back, and I don't know, out of nowhere, she went like nuts so crazy over old machines. And I'm like, because I'm like, I could definitely feed this. But she immediately like had all of the numbers right away. Like she knew what all of them were. And I'm like, I struggled to remember like the two I have, what their numbers are. I'm like, one of them was like a 90 something, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's my grandmother's.
A
I don't
Singer
know.
99.
Yeah, I think that's the one my grandmother had.
I don't
Yeah.
remember all the numbers, but I remember a lot of them. Like a 30, I've got a 301. I actually have a couple 301s. And I've got a couple of 221s. I've got a 222 free arm. Um
Yeah, none of that is helping me. I can't envision any of that.
the 221 and 222 are the featherweights. The
Okay.
301 is the big sister to the featherweight that could do like heavy duty stuff like jeans. A featherweight can't do jeans very well. Um, and the 301 has a stronger motor than the 221, so it can go hella fast. But the problem is it still has a featherweight bobbin, which holds like a sneeze of thread compared to the Bernina when they came out with the big Bernina bobbins.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then apparently there is like an elusive Singer two spool out there, but I don't have one. But other than
Okay, so
that,
Rob
like I don't know a lot of numbers.
okay, so Robin is saying that the Singer 2000 is the first electronic machine that came out in the mid to late 70s. Okay. So when Singer first put the digital guts into, yeah.
When it
Um
all started to go downhill.
um yeah, Truett, look at the you have my email address. So look at the details of the machine and send me the machine info, and I'll see if some of my resources I can find it for you. Um, that's interesting that they're smaller needles than I always feel like when you have needle, like you need a special needle for sewing machine, it's always like longer and like,
Hmm.
but yeah, maybe um
Yeah,
the
because
sergers is
some of
different.
the real antique machines definitely take like those longer, bigger needles that are hard to find.
Yeah, vibrating shuttles had the longer. Yeah. Oh, Robin, thank you for posting that link to the Barney's stuff because I really like them. They're great. Rubber instead of metal feed dogs. Interesting.
Where are we doing rubber instead of metal feed dogs?
Um, JB Calm Jelly said that the Singer 2000
Oh,
had rubber instead of metal feed dogs. Yeah.
that's that's weird, and I wonder what would have been the point of that.
Uh,
I mean, I
it
guess it could
probably,
grip better.
yeah, it probably had something to do with like what are the fabrics of that time, you know?
I would think maybe it might grip better if you were using more of like a sheer kind of fabric.
Or something that's slippery that,
Needs a
you
sticky
know.
something.
Mm-hmm. That was so interesting. Ooh, a sweater quilt. Nice. Yeah, you have to search the edges of those. Yeah. Um, yeah, it shouldn't be that complicated, but I totally understand it is. Ah, Yukama, you have a treadle. And Molly, you just said you got a treadle. So I have a treadle that my grandmother had, and it kind of just became like, well, I guess you're gonna get this because nobody else wants it. The thing is huge, and I have opened it up one time. I don't think she ever, I mean, she bought it at like an auction. My grandmother was like big time into antiques, and it has no necessarily sentimental value because it wasn't like a family machine. And gosh darn it, it's a white, which are like the worst machines. Like, don't even try. You're not gonna find the parts for it. You're not, but it is beautiful. The cat, because it's in a cat, it's a treadle, it's in the cabinet and stuff. It's really beautiful.
That
So
reminds me, Jackie, my friend Jackie in New Jersey. Remember her? She has a treadle and wanted me to ask you if you were interested in it. It's a cabinet treadle, the small cabinet ones.
I love those machines so much, but like I don't even have room for a sewing machine, period. Like, I don't have any more room. I'm like literally out of space. So,
Well, she's gonna bring it, if she doesn't get rid of it, she's gonna bring it up here in the spring for when we decide to do the stash yard sale of my mom's crap and try to sell it with that.
okay.
Because
Interesting.
her and her
Yeah.
friend
So you're
Karen are
finally
gonna
gonna
come up and help with that.
so you're finally ready to sell off some of your
Oh no,
mom's
I've
stuff?
been ready. No,
You've
no.
been ready.
Oh no, the stuff I've gone through everything, and like some of it I have already sold off to like some girlfriends. There's just so much that in order to do like a yard sale thing, I need help.
Yeah. Yeah. Your mom was
I
like
need
us,
hands,
right? Like all the things.
dude. So my mom, for one, was a voluminous yardage buyer. I am not. She was one of those, I don't know what I like this for, so I need at least 3 yards. 5 is better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. My mom operates under that assumption
Yeah.
too.
I'm a fat quarter hoarder. Like if I buy yardage, generally I buy like 1 yard, unless I think it could be good for borders and it's cheap, and then I'll buy more. But
Mhm.
she also needed like 4 of everything. So like when I was going through her stuff, there's a drawer, there's like a scissors drawer, and there were like 75 gingham scissors in there. Um yeah, like everything to excess. Her sewing room was large. And back when she like she was she was doing a ton of sewing in the 90s, back when the fabric was really good, and I worked at Joann's and they gave her my discount. So,
Oh.
and like one of those discounters that we have, Fabric Place Basement, which there's also one in Alexandria, Virginia. They were around back then. They were called Fabric Place. It was a different building that was like 4 or 5 stories. And they were cheap back then too. They're still one of our discounters. They were really, I think they were like $3 a yard back then. After her divorce, she spent a lot of money. I Between that's when she bought the new Bernina, which was new at the time. She also bought one of those really fancy schmancy like koala cabinets when they were like new.
Ooh.
Um,
Those I'm sure weigh a ton when they're all put together, right?
she's got a big one.
No?
Yeah, she's got a
Okay.
big one.
I
It's
yeah, I
wood, like,
feel like that's the kind of thing, like, unless you have somebody who's really motivated to have one of those, you probably sell the house with it.
whoever
Because you're
wants it.
never gonna get it out of that room.
Yeah, whoever wants it would have to take it apart themselves, because they did come and build it in the room. So we could get it out of the room itself, but yeah, you need someone to take it apart. It's so funny because I don't know if Patty, you're still here. Patty was my mom's high school friend. And
Oh.
we met for the first time at my mom's service, and her and I sewed together. She's the one that I go to the Bonnie Hunter retreat house with. Um, I was mentioning it to her, and she was like, "Why don't you want your mom's koala cabinet?" And I was like, "Because it's huge and won't fit. It will not fit in the area that I have planned in this house for sewing." But yeah, I think after my parents' divorce and she, you know, got really into shopping for a while, when she died and I was downstairs and I was like, "Oh my God, this is easily $1 million room." Because there's so, like, she had those metal shelving units you buy at like Home Depot for like your garage.
Hmm.
She had
Hmm.
those and the big ones, and she had the fabric on them double stacked back. It's like you couldn't even see it all.
Ah,
So
I do that with books.
she also got like late in her later quilting years, she got big into flannel. And
Mm.
unless it's really for a backing, like flannel's not really my jam. So it was easy to part with most of that. And I probably cut down her fabric stash by at least half. Um, and then yeah, like all the jibs and jabs and the hoobity boobity, and like it's a lot. I should actually send
Yeah.
you the before pictures. Like when she first passed the room, because the room was like a tornado went off. It was insane. And the difference now is dramatic.
Like
But
she
yeah, I
cleared
have a
out
lot
some.
of the fabric boxed up and like moved upstairs, like ready to like do something with. I need hands. It would be
Mm,
too much to deal with myself. Unless it was like buy a bag for how much money, fill it and leave. But you still got to put it all out and
yeah.
do all
Yeah.
the stuff.
I know that I don't think Bridgewater makes it here very often. I'm not sure if she watches replays, but I know Bridgewater, her guild did something. They advertised like a thing and sold off one of their guild members passed away and her
Yeah.
husband was like, I don't know what to do. So the guild was like, yeah, we'll help. And so they did
Hmm.
like a huge thing.
Yeah,
So
my mom
yeah.
wasn't part of a guild. Padma, I haven't sold or disposed of most of it yet. I took some of it to a shop with a bunch of girls that I sewed with, and they went through and bought some of it from me. But otherwise, I've just been collecting it, and then you probably didn't hear the part where I've got girlfriends, um, and all the girlfriends are welcome. Like will work for fabric, like that are gonna come help me. They want to come help in the spring to have like a quilters yard sale, and that's the plan.
You guys heard it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Molly, your shuttle is doubling as a hallway table. Yeah, I have. Yes, mine too. It's with many things heaped on top of it. Actually, it's got quilts on top of it right now. That's
My mom
probably a
had a
good place to store
treadle.
some quilts.
My mom had a treadle too that she bought, I don't know, a year or two before she died, that I won't keep because it's just a Singer Red Eye. It's just a run-of-the-mill treadle table. It's not like I have a couple treadle tables in mind I would like, but that particular one, it's not, and I don't have anywhere. Those tables are longer, you know, than like let's say like the cabinet table,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just the whole door opens. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Patty, you're coming to help. Of course, I know. Don't you worry.
Oh, Lisa, yes. I keep thinking like, oh, please let me live forever because I would truly feel bad if my husband and my kid had to deal with all of my fabric and
I
stuff.
would just make sure they have a friend's phone number to call. Because that's what I've done is like if anything happens to me, call this person and they will handle it. Like,
Yeah, they'll deal with the books and the fabric and the all the things.
yeah, like this one room belongs to that person to deal with. Like, don't even worry about it. Because that's what happened. I mean, that's the whole reason I started quilting. I went downstairs. My brother has no idea what any of that stuff is. I only do from working in the industry. So I'm looking at everything and I was like, and then I was like, I might as well give this a try before I decide to liquidate everything. And that's how I became a quilter.
Yeah, that's I think it's such a shame that you didn't get to share that with your mom, but
It is,
also
yeah.
I think it's great that that's a legacy she left you. And I mean, would you be here today if it wasn't for her? I mean, would you be doing what you're doing?
Who knows? Who knows? I have no idea. It's funny because the place that I learned just to quilt at, there was a mom and daughter that went on the days I was there. And they didn't have a good relationship like at all. So half me is like, why are you here together? Uh, but it was also, and the girl's my age, and it was one of those like every once in a while, just like, oh, you know, I can't sit with my mom, like kind of a thing.
You're welcome to borrow my mother anytime. I hope she's
You know,
not lurking.
half of me was thinking like, if I went down to Raleigh, I'm definitely not doing the drive home in one day. Like maybe I'll stop at her house. You go hang with your dad and I'll go keep your mom busy.
Yeah. Oh, Padma Quilter's estate sales. Yeah. She was shopping for her own future estate sale. That's funny. Yeah. I kind of feel like that. Anytime I buy something at an auction or something, and I think if I'm not putting it to use right away and I'm kind of like setting it aside and storing it, I think to myself, this heap is just like my future estate sale because am I not going to touch this again? That's bad, Stephanie. Very bad.
What's funny is the way I haven't bought a lot of fabric in the last year, and I feel
Yeah,
good
me
about
neither.
it. Um, and even like when I was in Pennsylvania, they're kind of having a little like retreat with my friends. I barely did any. I did a little tiny bit of fabric shopping, but I shopped like clearance fat quarters. The way that I'm often thinking about it though, when I do, if I do buy a lot of fabric, is I'm shopping for my retirement, because fabric will be so expensive, by the time that I don't know, let's say, so what, 60s, that's at least 20, at least 20 years from now. Like, it's gonna be so ridiculous. I'm like, I won't ever have to buy fabric ever again. And that's
Oh
kind of the
yeah.
way that I look at it.
Yeah, I have enough fabric just, that I've bought myself over, I mean, literally 3 decades. I mean, I started like I made quilts when I was in high school, but my own personal like hardcore sewing and quilting journey really started when I was in college, when I was about 20. So, yeah, I've been collecting all this stuff for 30 years. And I look at it, I always say, I think people get a really hard time about being, fabric hoarders. And I think it is problematic if you don't use your fabric. If you just are always like, keeping that over there and not touching it. But I think it was Kay Fassett, and I always go back to this anytime my husband gives me crap. Kay Fassett says, like, would you ever give a painter a hard time for having too much paint? And like fabric is your medium.
Mhm.
So, quilters and people who make things with fabric, I think should not feel guilty about having like the hoard. The problem is if you just keep some of it like and never use it, you never
Or
consider using it.
or if your hoard gets unusable and
Hmm.
becomes a problem. Mine's organized, and I have another girlfriend who kind of had a hoard and was disorganized, and it was stopping her from creating. So that hoard's a
Hmm.
problem. And she finally bit the bullet to get like an organizer. Like, she paid an organizer to come and like help her like organize to use her stuff better. Which is why I'm always like, I'm gonna keep mine organized. And like, like my mom had it double stacked back. How on earth are you using fabric you can't even see? Like,
Well, I double stack my books, so I'm always having to pull out the front to look in the back and be like,
well, it's
"That's
one
where
thing
that
if
book
you
is."
double stack them out of necessity for space. She did not have that problem. She
Oh,
was just
well.
like, oh, this is what will fit on this. She bought shelving that really wasn't conducive to what she was storing on it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
You almost need a shallow shelf for really
yeah,
good fabric storage, I think, especially if you're doing well, she's got yardage, but smaller pieces. I feel like I've seen, like, people that, like, use CD,
that's how
things
my fat
for
quarters are stored. I
for
wrap them
fat
around a
quarters.
3-inch ruler and then fold them in half, and you can fit two next to each other. So I can fit, depending on how thick the fabric is, between like 15 and 20 fat quarters into one cube on the CD tower.
And that is easy furniture to get because I think every Goodwill in the universe has CD towers.
Well,
Like,
I use the IKEA ones, which you can't get anymore. But then I also use the IKEA shelving because I ruler fold my fabric on a 5-inch ruler the same way, and then fold it in half. And
Molly's writing an out of office message. Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, so JB's talking about those recycling places. Those places are awesome. We have something here in Baltimore. It's not the same thing, but they do take it's almost like a fabric and craft thrift store.
yep,
They'll take,
I've got one of those too.
yeah, just about anything. It's called Scrap Baltimore, I think. I think they are kind of like they're part of a, not a chain, but like a I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, like a group of those type of stores that are kind of all connected in different cities.
Consortium.
Consortium. That's like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Padma, I do also stash for backings. I the one of the discount I've got a few discounters in my area, and one of them will have a sale where the yardage is $2 and $3 a yard. So I will go there purposely with the express idea of, could this be a good backing? I'll take 8 yards. Because I know some people, I know it can be like really involved in their backings and their bindings. I'm not so much. I'm kind of like, does this look like it'll match? Does that look cool? Do I have okay, good? Like,
Yeah, what I tend to use for backings, like I've bought some just bolts of stuff. Like I have an orange polka dot and then I have a pink and white stripe. Actually, this I've whole bolted this that I bought for doing this work, but also I've put it on the back of every quilt I've made. Like, but yeah, I tend to buy like the heroes. So like when a fabric line comes out, the heroes are the ones with the really big print or the very like the novelty prints.
Mhm.
And so like Tula Pink and Ruby Star, Cotton Steel, you know, they all make those. And it's really hard sometimes to use those big novelty prints. You know, they're so cute, but then like how do you use them? You fussy cut, you whatever. So I buy those for backings because they're so cute and fun to look at, but it's like
Mhm.
they're hard to work into a design. So yeah, that's kind of my
I like to do that with kind of more modern looking like toiles. Um, I I don't know that I've bought any like full on bolts. I have bought like the rest of the bolt, but I don't know about full on bolts, but that's how I feel about those kind of prints. If I either have to cut it small enough where it's just color and I'm not looking at the
Mhm.
pattern anymore, or you really have to display the
Exactly.
fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've gotten better about like just looking at those prints for color.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that was one of the things like in my quilting early on. I was like, I wanted to preserve whatever was in the fabric.
Hmm.
And if the print's big, you know, the best you could do are just big blocks. So yeah. Well, you know, Robin, I know Robin has been doing some cleanup with her sewing stuff and fabrics. So 6 boxes. Good job. Lisa. Yes, I have that problem too. Anytime I go to destash stuff, no matter what it is, clothes, sewing and crafting items, whatever, I do tend to end up with more than I took to get rid of.
But you ended up with different stuff than you brought with you. So if you end up with more stuff that you're going to use, that's still a win.
Yeah, it is a win if you use it. That's the
Yeah.
problem. You know, and Lisa, I think you and I are probably a lot alike in that respect. Like you get excited about stuff. You're like you see something somebody else is working on, you're like, ah, or something comes out and you're like, oh, I want that, you know, and all of a sudden you've got like more projects than anybody could ever finish in their
Oh, I have a
entire
ton.
lifetime.
No, I probably have like 20 projects going at once because I just pick at them. But I'm also one of those people that fully feels that shopping for fabric and sewing with fabric are different hobbies, and I
They are.
enjoy both of them.
They are. They are. And you know, there is some fabric. I have a few pieces of fabric that I will never cut. I'll never use them for anything just because they may not be like all that special in terms of, you know, they're not like some 18th century toile or chintz or something, but they're just things that have like kind of special or I bought them for a particular reason. And so I'll just, you know, they'll always be kind of like the shiny example of a fabric that doesn't get cut, but
You should
everything else
frame
is fair
them.
game.
I,
Everything, yeah,
I've seen a
yeah.
post about like someone was like, "Do you ever have fabric you just like it's too gorgeous or whatever, I just can't cut it." And she's like, "Frame them." And it's funny,
Hmm.
she had I don't remember who it was, but she had some frames where it was just, let's say, a toile, you know, an 8x10 with a toile in it. But then she had like another 8x10 where she put in these different fabrics, but folded them big, where it almost kind of looked like a crazy quilt, almost like patchwork, but like she knew that it was still a whole big piece, so she could kind of enjoy
Yeah,
it as patchwork without cutting it
without
up.
cutting it. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. So many cool tops to finish. Oh, Robin, yes, I know that feeling too.
I don't even know how many I have. I don't even want to know.
What, quilt tops?
Quilt tops to finish, projects to finish.
Blocks to put together? Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty famous for getting about half the blocks in a quilt done and then saying like, "Oh, I have to move on to this other thing, but I'm going to get back and finish." And I have like literally all of these little boxes full of just whatever. And I probably should try and like, you
Have
know,
you ever
outsource some of that stuff.
have you ever passed on projects?
I have some small things, but never anything like that, like really big. Like, yeah, I haven't. I just,
Apparently, some guilds have like a pass along sale where you literally pass on a whole project. And I do know some people that have literally taken up someone else's project. It doesn't really ignite me because piecing is so personal and like everyone's quarter inch is different.
Yeah.
Like that I don't, I almost feel like I'd be instantly frustrated trying to emulate
Mhm.
however someone started their blogs or
Well, I mean, I think that if it's like a kit kind of thing, I think it'd be a little easier just to take on somebody else's project. Um, I've been working and I put it down for quite a few months now, but I've been working on that piece. I think I got it in an auction for like $12. And I'd say 75% of the blocks were done. And there it's a Dresden,
Mhm.
sort of a Dresden, and then has a thing in the middle. And so I've finished, I think, all but one or two of the blocks, and now just need to put them together. But then there's this very complex border. Um, and I don't know, I felt that one, I kind of felt a kinship with the person, and I don't really know anything about her. I guess it just kind of depends on what the project is. If it's something that I was really attracted to, that I really loved, I don't know that I'd have necessarily too much of a problem picking up somebody else's work. If their work was really bad, I'd probably take it out.
Well, here's the thing, like I definitely have no issue with like cannibalizing someone's blocks and doing something else with it. But yeah, like there's a girl at the museum that's finishing someone's project and I'm like looking at all the stuff and like this one also came with uncut fabric because I was like, do you still have the because I it's one thing you usually run out because there's no more fabric and you have to just like fudge it. She has fabric too, and I'm just like, it looks like more work than if I just started it all myself.
Oh gosh.
Yakamo, what you're describing, in my opinion, is like petting your fabric. Like
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
definitely go and just admire my fabric and touch it. People say like, "What do you do when you lost your sojo?" And I'm like, I just pet fabric.
Hmm.
Like, or I cut scraps up into I use the Bonnie Hunter's scrap user system, which is amazing. Highly recommend. So I'll just go and I'll just cut scraps or I'll just fold fabric and just, and for something for me, like the feeling, the smell, will be like, oh, I want to play, like,
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, when I'm kind of unsure, I can't say that I mean, this sounds like a weird flex, but I don't know that I've ever necessarily lost my sojo.
all right,
Like, I feel like there have
whatever,
been times,
whatever, go get away.
well, there
Like,
have been times when I'm just like, I don't feel like sewing. But in terms of, if I don't have an idea to execute, I always have a half done project to like, if I just need to be like sewing. But yes, there are times when I don't have anything specific in mind. And yeah, I do look at my fabric just like as an activity, not with the intent of necessarily, like
what activities are on your plate today? I'm
look
looking
at
at my fabric.
looking and petting my fabric. But sometimes you like pull out and I don't have like a super nice organization system for my fabric. I literally will have like bins and stuff where it's just stacked. And sometimes it's neatly organized and folded, and sometimes it's just like, you know. Um, and I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily like a good or bad thing, but I like the idea of things being together unexpectedly. And then I'm looking in there and I'm going, oh, I never would have thought of putting that color together, but look at these two, that I kind of like that. And I have fun with that sometimes, but not everybody is into that.
I mean,
I think sometimes
isn't that
people,
kind of like described as like creative chaos?
yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, creative chaos is definitely like my jam for sure.
Mhm. I mean,
Um,
don't get me wrong. Just because I have like generally like my fabric like organized pretty neatly, it is because I moved it here that way. Like I literally like folded it back at the other house and like moved it here that way. Although I will say like I just wanted to like get it all done. So the closet here is full of fabric that I haven't folded like yet to fit. Um, but yeah, it didn't start that way and I can still get plenty messy. It's just currently neat just because even though I have all the fabric here, I still tend to sew at the other house.
mhm.
But in the last year, I have done hardly any sewing just because I've been busy with the business, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is great for when I'm on like a buying trip because antique stores and things and the auction, what they like, they close at 5. What are you
Yeah.
gonna
So
do
you
for the
need
rest
something
of the
to do in
night?
the evening when you're
Yeah.
traveling around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good time to sew, even if it's in a hotel room.
Oh gosh, Robin, that's too long. Get your sojo back, girl. Like that's a really long time. I don't know. I sometimes feel like I'm constantly sewing. I'm always like, there's always something in my purse. It's
I mean, that's better than purse cheese.
oh gosh, Mary and her purse cheese.
Could you
Yeah,
imagine? Could you imagine like if you like were like, I need a snack, and you pull out like old purse cheese, but there's like a threaded needle in it. Like, oh, I thought that
that
had
would
been
be
a
the
pin
kind of
cushion.
thing.
You're like, never mind that. Usually, like the grandma thing, it's like the mint. You're like, never mind. But you're like dusting off like thread and stuff.
Yeah. Lots of American cheese.
Yeah, it's all dried around the edges. No, it's still good. Like,
In Mary's defense, though, the cheese was in a little container. She had put it in a container.
so it was
She's never going
protected
to live
purse
that
cheese.
down. I
No,
feel
it's
bad
gonna
for
be her
telling
thing.
everybody, but
No, it's gonna be her thing. Um, just like the
cheese
postage you
pin
trash.
cushion. You know what? Oh my gosh, Chicago. I should make one. I should make a cheese pin cushion.
Yes, you should.
Yes, I'm gonna do that in the new year, and I will send Mary a cheese pin cushion.
Yeah, just with a note that says this is the acceptable kind of purse cheese.
Padma, you enjoy it when you sit down, but then other aspects of quilting, you don't like the rest of it. So
Wait,
you
I
like the
don't even
picking?
know. Hold on, I have to read it. I don't even know what she said because you couldn't laugh, like not laugh through it.
Sorry. Padma, you crack me up.
I hate when things get big. Like once the top, like putting rows and the top together is one
Oh
of
yeah.
my, because it gets honking big. And did I tell you the story about piecing that big blue quilt, that Bonnie Hunter quilt that I made? I showed it on one of the nerd parade
Yeah,
nights.
I remember seeing it.
Oh my God. I had to take that quilt to Maine with me to my aunt's cabin because she had this really long dining room table with nothing on it, so it could hold that weight of when it got long. And I have pictures of because I had to pin the thing too because like it had so many intersecting seams. I have pictures of like the row on top of the counter, and there's 2 peanut butter jars holding up each end because this thing was so seam heavy. It's a heavy quilt. And I'm literally like pinning 7,000 pins through it. And then I'm like manhandling this thing to like carry it back to my machine. And it's all over the place. There's pins in my boobs. And, I'm like getting this thing through and trying to iron it open. And by the time I got the last seam done, I didn't even open it to see how I did. I just like rolled it up in a ball and like threw it in the thing. And I'm like, I'm ready to put this in the trash. Like, I don't want to touch this ever again. So when I brought it to my quilting lady, I'm like, here's the top. Charge me to iron it because you're supposed to iron your top. I'm like, here's the fabric for the back. You're making that too. Charge me to make the binding and put it on. Like, it cost me like $500 to have that quilt finished. But I'm like, I don't ever want to look at this unfinished again. Like the fact that I got it done, and it's like 98 by 98 or some crap. Like it's a
That's a
big,
big one.
and that's the first one I've ever finished completely. I was like, once they get big, I hate them. I hate them.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say that like I'm actually sitting on probably the last full like bed size quilt that I quilted on, a domestic machine. Yeah, a lot of my work, because I do a lot of art quilts, so a lot of my work is small like this. I mean, this is a small quilt. This is probably like a baby size quilt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really, my stuff that I the size of my work generally tends to go with the idea of it versus like, oh, I'm going to use this for a baby quilt or bed quilt or whatever. So
Hmm.
they grow organically, but yeah, trying to wrestle a machine, a quilt through a domestic machine is such a nightmare. I mean, and Robin said earlier about a machine with a deeper throat. Like that's a godsend if you have that. Because and people that like every quilt they've ever quilted has been on their domestic machine. I'm like, how are you not like just swole? Because it
Well,
takes a lot out of
it
your
does.
like
Well,
upper
it's
body.
even with a deeper throat, it wouldn't have mattered because there were so many seams in this quilt. I even when I dropped it off to my friend who does my long arm, I'm like, we're probably not going to be friends after you quilt this quilt because like you're going to hate me because there's so many seams in this quilt. Like there's just no way you can't hate me. And when I picked it up, she actually was like, it's shockingly, it sewed like butter. So I was like amazed because some of the seams, because it's some of it was kind of improv, like string piecing, and then you cut it. Some of the seams are they're really close together, and then there's a fold, so it just the seam like there's no way around it. Like it just gets really, really bulky. And she said I didn't have any problems whatsoever. And I was there one time when she was sewing someone else's like Bonnie Hunter quilt that they tend to be seam heavy, and she was breaking needles left and right and like swearing at the thing. So I was like, oh my God, she's gonna hate me. We're not gonna be friends anymore. And no. And she didn't mind doing all the extra labor because I mean she's like, hey, I make a lot of money doing the labor. I'm like, that's fine with me, enjoy. Like it was worth every penny to not do it.
Ah. Ah, Druid. Okay, so having no idea what you're doing, like you put that one to the side because I mean I get all the other stuff. I totally understand. I mean, you're living in a small space. Uh, I am too. I'm living in a small space, and the little bit of space I have is currently being occupied by other things that like you guys can't even imagine what my cutting table looks like right now. I mean, it literally looks like the box fairy came, and there's just, I mean, a lot of it is like holiday stuff, and yeah, I got to get rid of all that stuff, and it'll be out of here in like the next week or two. But yeah, it just when you have a small space, it's just really hard. I mean, I'm so envious of people that have, just big, more modern houses, that have bigger rooms. Just yeah. JB says that Bonnie Hunter does some kind of
She does
webbing of the rows.
she webs her rows when she's sewing.
What does that
Um
mean?
she does like instead of cutting your thread between piecing your rows, she keeps the thread going like a string piecing. Or like a
Okay.
not a string piecing,
Cane piecing.
chain, yes. And when she's done, the rows are webbed together so you can't unmatch anything. And then
I see.
JB's also saying like she doesn't care so much about her seams matching, and which is true. I care more than Bonnie Hunter does about my seams matching. And even still, like my friend Jackie makes fun of me. She's like, "Oh my God, you're such a pinner." Now, one thing is that I use those really, really like silk pins because I want to sew over them. Like I don't want to take them out. So they're so because when I was looking at my mom's stuff and I'm like she had this a whole drawer of pins. Um the quilters pins are so thick. Like they like distort the fabric. Like they're so thick. Like the flower head ones.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Well, the
how on
real
earth?
flower head ones, the clover ones, those actually come in different thicknesses.
Oh,
The
and
ones that you just buy at Joann now, they're
yeah.
they're knockoffs. Those are thick. But yeah.
She had all different kinds. They were just insanely thick. And I hated them. So when I was talking to a friend, she's like, "Oh, you should try these pins, which are like if my needle hits them, they're just gonna bend. Like that's how thick how thin they are. It won't break my needle. It'll dull the needle, obviously, but like the pin will just bend, and then I just stop and pull it out, and on we go. And it's pretty rare that it hits it because it's so thin. But yeah, I'm not. It's not that I'm so anal about like, oh my God, it has to be perfect. But I
It's just
don't want
easier.
to. Yeah, I don't want to have to keep like worrying and like, you know what I mean? Like I just want to be like chug a chug a chug a chug, whatever. And because she's also like, you so kind of slow, and she's so fast. The table is like running away as she's going. Um, and I was just like, so
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a different style of doing things, and I'm always amazed at the people that can piece like crazy fast and just like
she,
boom, 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 and it's accurate.
yeah,
I
her
can't do
her
that.
piecing's pretty darn good. She I think almost solely makes charity quilts for
Mm.
kids, quilts for kids. And she'll make 17 in a weekend. Like I don't need to sew that fast.
All right, you guys. So all this sojo around here, we're gonna have to do something about that in the new year. I actually have a lecture that I've only given one time to they were a spinners group. They were a spinners guild, which I was like, I know about this much about spinning, but I love to be able to talk to other textile people. So yeah, I did a keynote for them a few years ago, and it was about reigniting your creativity.
Oh,
So perhaps I will do that lecture for you guys in the new year. Would that be something you guys would be interested in seeing?
that sounds like fun.
Um,
Molly used to run
yeah,
a spinning group.
Nashville Spinsters. I love that. Yeah, I'll do that for you guys because yeah, you need to get your sojo back on. Um, JB, yes, I'm not gonna say that I'm OCD, but like I separate my pins because I can't stand picking up a pin cushion and having to use like that one pin. Like I run out of all the glass head pins and I have to use that one pin that's like
What? Wait, what's wrong with it?
well, because I also do garment sewing. And so for garment sewing, I use these pins that they do have a plastic head, but they're called easy grip pins.
Mm-hmm.
And the head of them is like, like a ball, and then it kind of comes down and flares out on the bottom.
Yep,
It's got
yep,
this
yep.
like extra little. Yeah, I invested in a whole bunch of those, and they're great for garment sewing. But I don't want them in my quilted stuff. I don't know why. I just like ugh, I don't
Well,
like them
no,
for
that
that.
makes sense that you would have. But are you that one person where like you buy pins, like my pins come with it's yellow and blue heads? Do you separate the color of the heads?
I may or may not have some weird like like I have multiple. So, okay, this pincushion at my desk is not a good example just because it is stuffed full of stuff right now.
Well,
But
is that a collectible pincushion? Or do you
nah, this
actually
is
use
just
that?
a yeah, actually use this. This is one that it's a cotton and steel fabric
Mm-hmm.
that I stitched over so it has my name. Um but yeah, there's a lot of things in this one. I need to clean this one out. Sorry, JB. This is the kind of thing that probably makes you crazy. But see these, I don't like if I use up all of the, I don't like, so the ones with the solid white heads, I don't like to mix those with these cool like clear glass. And that's just me being
No, no,
weird. That has
no.
nothing to do
No, no,
with
no. That makes total sense that you have different cushions for different kinds of pins. I think you're crazy if you don't. But what I'm really like when I'm
yeah.
giving people like bombastic side eye is when they have their pin cushion and it's the same damn pin, but the yellow's on one side and the blue's on the other side.
I kind of understand that.
I do not. I'm definitely like it's the same pin.
See, like this situation right here. Do you see I've got some white head pins, and then I've got some of these clear.
Mhm.
Um, I would use the clear ones before I use the white ones. And I don't like to mix them in a project. And I do tend to keep them separated. Like if I'm like not bored necessarily, but just like in between things, I do separate them. Like I'll put all the white ones on one side and then separate the clear green and the clear yellow. They don't stay like that. Oh yeah, Padma. Those are yeah, my mom had all those too. And do you remember how those came? They came in like do I even have? Yeah, I've got see these. She's talking about these.
Mm-hmm.
The the ubiquitous pin.
Mm-hmm.
Um those would come on those like it was like a sheet of paper that was like ridged and then the pins were all through the little ridge. Um I remember when I was little, my mom would buy those and she'd have them in the bench of her sewing, like her sewing bench.
Yep.
Lift it up and you could store stuff inside like a sewing basket. And I would go and I would just like pull it.
Like,
I
and
would
do what?
also
Like,
just drop them back in the thing, the seat,
is this one of those stories that you get annoyed when your mom keeps telling because it's like, embarrassing, but you were that much of a shit? Like,
I've also fed my mother's machine. I would like take the pins and put them in like where the take up lever.
oh my God.
She took it to the guy where she worked at the place and she took it in there and he was like, "Why do you have all these pins in here?" And she's like, "My 3-year-old fed the machine." And he's like, "You are lucky that you realized it," because she saw me do it. She was like, "Oh no." And she's like shaking the machine trying to get him out, I'm sure.
Man, he
But
probably
yeah, he
opened
was
that thing up and he was like, God, this woman's a dumbass. Like, what did she
well,
thought her
no, she
kid?
told him immediately, like, my
Oh.
child fed the machine, and he was like, "Keep your machine away from your child. Like, you're very lucky that you didn't really like mess up the guts of this machine." So, yeah,
Steph, you're a problem.
I am. I really am.
Like,
Oh gosh, Lisa.
your mom is way too nice to you. Like, I would hold a grudge.
Well, that's why I'm 50 years old and she will still tell the story about the time I cut the middles out of her yardage with pinking shears and then cut my own hair.
What, like, to celebrate? Hey, at least you used pinking shears. You didn't
Yeah,
want that
well, I
fabric
mean,
to fray.
pinking shears make a pretty pattern. And it's real interesting when you make yourself some bangs. Cause like I never had bangs. My mother never gave me bangs as a kid. I didn't get bangs until I was like in high school. And I desperately like a friend of mine she had like long, thick braids and then like the straight across bangs. And I wanted that hair. But my hair was like way too fine for that. So every few years I would get this idea that I was gonna cut myself some bangs. And that must have started when I was 3. I don't remember that one. Um but I do remember cutting my hair another time because I was trying to get the bangs like my friend and it never worked out.
Is there
So
a picture somewhere of these pinking shear bangs?
I don't think so.
If you're, oh my God,
No.
I'm gonna call your mom. I'm very disappointed in her that there is not a picture of pinking
Yeah,
shear bangs.
you could ask her, but yeah, I don't think there are. Well, I don't know. I mean, there might be some because there was I don't want to say it was a time period, like a very long time. And I had like the white blonde hair, and she kind of kept it like kind of cut like a. Well, my grandfather was a barber, so he'd cut it like in a bob. And I know there's like a time period where it was always swept to the side with a barrette. That could have been like because I had this short stuff here. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Because, like, if I had done that when I was a kid, the very first thing my mom would have done is laugh at me and take a picture. So, I mean, if
Yeah.
nothing, it's future bribery. Like, your mom was a terrible planner. Like, she had half of it where she's like, I'm going to tell this story forever. But, like, like nowadays with like social media and stuff, she could have this picture haunt you
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm
forever.
glad it happened. I'm glad it happened in like 76 and not in 2016. Um, oh gosh, let's see. Oh my gosh, Kimberly Jolly does not use the red pins. That is bizarre. And of course, I'm the one just sitting here talking about the weird things I do with pin cushions. Oh no, Robin. Oh no. Yeah, I've done that too. Like I think I had that situation when I was in high school and you end up with those pieces that are just like
I had long hair, like when I was a kid, I had hair like down to my butt. And I did have bangs for quite some time.
You combo. Oh no.
Oh
So
my.
you chopped right into some fancy clothes.
You had the best dressed Barbie.
Oh my goodness. That great fabric. I bet. I don't know though. I think little kids just love to play with I mean, I think of my son when he was little, he loved it. Little kids just love fabric. And I think that, if you do, you do so, it's probably a good idea to like teach them how to safely use scissors and maybe keep the pins and needles away from them, but give them some fabric to cut up.
When everyone was talking about kind of like those like craft resale stores, we have one in Mass, and I went in there for the first time a little while ago because actually I bought a top from them that they got. But they have a bin by the front door of all kinds of shit, and it's just called Free Fabric for Kids, and it's just like scraps. They also have like another scrap area that's all different kinds of fabric, but they call it hot garbage. And they're
I
like, their
love
thing
that.
is like fill a bag of hot garbage for $5 or something, whatever.
I love that. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Inez gets mad if you use her fabric. Inez better have some fabric. I mean, come on. She is the coolest person I know. Well, my dear friends,
Yeah, we're at 4.
we've been chit-chatting for 2 hours.
Yeah, this the subtitle of this was like get to know weird shit about Jill and Cake.
Sometimes this is what happens though. I know, I mean, I do like really focus on the reading, but sometimes we just go off on a, you know, some of their tangent, and that is cool. And the lurkers stay, so I think they must not hate it. Um,
I mean,
well, Molly,
Do you think Mary Kay is one of our lurkers today? If you are, hello, Mary
maybe.
Kay.
So Molly, you have a absolutely wonderful weekend, and if I don't talk to you, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the stuff. Um, so just a quick reminder, I'm not going to be here on Monday. I will be about this time. I will be hitting my second nap.
Wait, your
You good luck
second
with your
nap?
panic cleaning too. Oh
Wait,
yeah,
second nap?
second nap. Yeah, you gotta have multiple naps on Christmas. You gotta
But
have the
when
post present opening nap, and then you eat some lunch, and then you have another nap. Um, so yes, everybody have wonderful, wonderful holidays. I will not see you next Monday. I will be here Thursday though. So a week from today, be here, be normal time. We'll have some,
we will be on Tuesday night.
yes, we'll be here Tuesday. Yes, we will be here Tuesday. And for New Year's, I'm not going to be here that Monday. So keep that in mind. And I'll put all this all on the Facebook page just as a reminder. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I may do a pop-up if I get around to wrapping. If I just throw everything into Walmart bags, we'll see how that goes.
No one can say you're not a classy girl.
Just gonna get ripped open anyway. I mean, come on. So take care, you guys. And yes, and blessed solstice, Druid. And I will talk to you guys soon. And thanks for coming on, Jill, and
Thanks
sharing
so
all
much
your
for having me.
cool crap.
Happy
All right.
holidays to everybody. Bye.